love is too strong for that kind of talk to be more than a thought. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes we both need our space, and it's the only way to feel the pull of you and me. It took our whole world going black, oh, and fading fast, just to finally see that all that we have is all that we need. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. It was always you. Can't help myself. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love, I love, I love you. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Oh, sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes winning's losing fast and moving past who is right and who is wrong. And sometimes leaving's all I've got, even when I know it's not. 'Cause our love is too strong for that kind of talk to be more than a thought. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes we both need our space, and it's the only way to feel the pull of you and me. It took our whole world going black, it was always you. Can't help myself, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love, I love, I love you. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fit another's lonely night. Someone sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Oh, sundown to sunrise. Hey, sundown to sunrise. Sometimes winning's losing fast and moving past who is right and who is wrong. And sometimes leaving's all I've got, even when I know it's not. 'Cause our love is too strong for that kind of talk to be more than a thought. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fit sometimes we both need our space, and it's the only way to feel the pull of you and me. It took our whole world going black, oh, and fading fast, just to finally see that all that we have is all that we need. If you were the stars, and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise, sundown to sunrise. It was always you. Can't help myself. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love. I love. I love you. If you were the stars, and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Oh, sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes winning's losing fast and moving past who is right and who is wrong. And sometimes leaving's all I've got, even when I know it's not. 'Cause our love is too strong for that kind of talk to be more than a thought. If you were the stars, and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes we both need our space, and it's the only way to feel the pull of you and me. It took our whole world going black, oh, and fading fast, just to finally see that all that we have is all that we need. If you were the stars, it was always you. Can't help myself, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love, I love, I love you. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you feel another's lonely night. Someone sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Oh, sundown to sunrise. Hey, sundown to sunrise.
Welcome, everyone. If everyone can take their seats now, the bride and groom will be entering shortly. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome everyone to the nikah ceremony of Salima Qasim and Shozab Raza. On behalf of both families, I want to thank everyone for joining us for this special day to mark the union of these two wonderful people. I'm Elliot, and I'm honored to be officiating this marriage between two dear friends. I will lead the couple through the reciting of the Aqd, the signing of the contracts, will offer blessings, and introduce various parts of the ceremony. First, I will read Hadith-e-Kissa, or the story of the cloak. This tradition is read at the start of new occasions, especially special moments that we embark on in our lives. After reading it, at these important life junctures, it is reported that prayers will be realized. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. Fatima Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, peace be upon them, is to have thus related an event. My father, the Prophet of Allah, came to my house one day and said to me, "Peace be upon you, Fatima." I replied, "And upon you be peace." Then he said, "I feel weakness in my body." I said, "Allah protects you from weakness, father." He said, "Fatima, bring the Yemeni cloak and cover me with it." So I brought the Yemeni cloak and covered him with it. Then I looked at him, and I saw his face, and it was shining like a full moon with its glory and splendor. After a while, my son Hassan came in and said, "Peace be upon you, mother." And I replied, "Peace be upon you, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a fragrance so sweet and so pure as that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather is lying underneath the cloak." Hassan went near the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son, and the master of my fountain. You are given the permission to enter." So Hassan entered the cloak with him. After a while, my Hussein came in and said, "Peace be upon you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace, O light of my eyes, and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a sweet fragrance, like that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather and your brother are lying underneath the cloak." Hussein stepped towards the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, my grandfather, the chosen of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son, and interceder of my followers. You are given permission to enter." So Hussein entered the cloak with them. After a while, Abul Hassan Ali bin Abi Talib came in and said, "Peace be upon you, O daughter of the Prophet of Allah." And I replied, "And upon you peace, O father of Hassan, the commander of the faithful." And he then said, "Fatima, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my brother, my cousin, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, he is underneath the cloak with your two sons." So Ali went near the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" And he replied, "And upon you peace, my brother. You are my legatee, my successor, my standard bearer. You are given permission to enter." So Ali entered the cloak with them. I then stepped forward and said, "Peace be upon you, my father, O Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my daughter, O part of myself, you are given the permission to enter." So I entered the cloak with them. Getting together underneath the cloak, my father, the Prophet of Allah, held the two ends of the cloak and raised his right hand towards the heavens and prayed, "O Allah, these are the people of my household, the Ahlul Bayt. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh and their blood is my blood. Whoever hurts them hurts me too. Whoever displeases them displeases me too. I am at war with those who are at war with them, and I am at peace with those at peace with them. I am the enemies of their enemies, and I am friends of their friends. They are from me, and I am from them. O Allah, bestow your blessings, benevolence, forgiveness, and your pleasure upon me and upon them, and remove impurity from them and keep them thoroughly pure." Then the Lord Almighty Allah said, "O my angels, O residents of my heaven, verily I have not created and erected the sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for the love of these five lying underneath the cloak." Gabriel, the trusted angel, asked, "Who are under the cloak?" And the Almighty answered, "They are of the household of the Prophet and the assets of prophethood. They are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her two sons." Gabriel said, "O Lord, may I fly to earth to be the sixth of them." Allah replied, "Yes, you are given the permission." Gabriel, the trusted, landed near them and said, "Peace be upon you, O Prophet of Allah. The All-Highest conveys his peace on you and his greetings and says, By my honor and glory, O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily, I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for your sake and love. God has given me permission to enter the cloak with you. May I join you, O Prophet of Allah?" The Prophet replied, "And peace be upon you, O trusted bearer of Allah's revelations. You are granted permission." So Gabriel entered the cloak with us and said to my father, "Allah sends his revelations to you. Verily, Allah's desire is to remove blemish from you, O people of the household, the Ahlul Bayt, and purify you with perfect purification." Then Ali said to my father, "O Prophet of Allah, tell me what significance has Allah given for getting together underneath this cloak?" The Prophet replied, "By him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind, whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow on them his blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them, asking Allah the remission of their sins until the assembly disperse." So Ali said, "Verily, by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are winners." But then my father replied, "By him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind, whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mentions this event, there shall remain none grieved, but Allah will remove his grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. And there shall remain none wish seekers, but Allah will grant his wish." And happily said, "Verily, by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners and the blessed in this world and the next." We will now hear from Noman, who will recite the Sehra. Come sit. No, not now.
Assalamu alaikum. Khawatino Hazrat. That means peace be unto you, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, other. Wait, sorry, I'm going to stop embarrassing myself. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Numan. I'm Shozab's friend, but I'm also Salima's friend. And I'm very blessed to have these two in my life. Shozab is very close to me. And I'll recite a few words in appreciation of Shozab. Thank you. But more seriously, what I'm going to read out to you is something called the Sehra. A Sehra is a kind of headdress that a groom is supposed to wear at a wedding. Now, Shozab's not wearing that. His Sehra is his haircut. And it's made of flowers or beads, strings of flowers and beads, and they kind of hang over your face, so they're kind of a veil. And that's what the Sehra is. The idea is that it's supposed to ward off the evil eye. But since we have an Islamic center behind us and an Aga Khan museum in front of us, I think we're protected from the evil eye, so Shozab doesn't need that Sehra. But the Sehra is also a poem. It's a poem that's written in honor of the groom, in honor of the couple, and it's recited as an ode to that headdress. So this Sehra, this poem, is actually written by Mashkoor Hussain Yad, who is Shozab's grandfather, dearly departed grandfather, who was a very important figure in Urdu literature, in Urdu adab. And generally, a Sehra is supposed to be written custom made for the person. But in this case, although it wasn't custom written for Shozab, it is custom written for Shozab. That's what's amazing about it. So I'm going to first read it to you in Urdu, and then I'm going to read to you a translation done by our dear friend Tayyaba Jawani, who for many reasons could not be here today. So allow me first to recite this. हयात नौ का रुखे दिल पजीर है सहरा, हयात नौ का रुखे दिल पजीर है सहरा, रफ़ाक़तों की रुतों का सफ़ीर है सहरा। लगा रहा है मज़ामीन शौक़ के अनबार, लगा रहा है मज़ामीन शौक़ के अनबार, जरीदाए दिलो जाँ का मुदीर है सहरा, जरीदाए दिलो जाँ का मुदीर है सहरा। जहाँ पर वाकई मिलते हैं आसमान व ज़मीन, जहाँ पर वाकई मिलते हैं आसमान व ज़मीन, उफ़क़ पे दिल के वो रोशन लकीर है सहरा। अरूस व शाह के रुखसार छेड़ने वाला, उरूस व शाह के रुखसार छेड़ने वाला, बड़ा ही शौक़ बड़ा ही शरीर है सहरा। सिवाय दुल्हा दुल्हन के किसी को क्या मालूम, सिवाय दुल्हा दुल्हन के किसी को क्या मालूम, नज़र का शौक़ है दिल का अमीर है सहरा। लड़ी लड़ी में पिरोए हैं रंग रंग सवाल, लड़ी लड़ी में पिरोए हैं रंग रंग सवाल, बजारतों की बिसाते कबीर है सहरा। I didn't understand half that Urdu, so I'm going to translate it into English myself. Again, this translation is by Tayyiba Jawani, who is a poet in her own right and a dear friend of Shozab's. The alluring face of a life renewed is the Sahra. The alluring face of a life renewed is the Sahra. The tribune for all the traditions of affection is the Sahra. Piling up towering essays of passion, piling up towering essays of passion, the editor of the Journal of Hearts and Souls is the Sahra. Where the heavens and the earth meet, that bright rim at the horizon of the heart is the Sahra. The one who teases the cheeks of brides and grooms, very brazen, very naughty, is the Sahra. Who besides the bride and groom may know, who besides the bride and groom may know, very brazen, bold of gaze, and generous of heart, is the Sahra. String upon string of beaded questions in many hues, string upon string of beaded questions in many hues, a great canvas of riddles is the Sahra. Thank you.
Thank you, Naman. That was wonderful. And as you sort of alluded to, even though this was not written for Shozab, it very much was and rings so very true about our friend. So next, we're going to kind of get down to business, and I'll be officiating the nikah. So to begin officiating this, I'm going to read a short khutbah or sermon to bless the union of Salima and Shozab, and then we'll get to the contractual elements. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Praise be to God. In avowal of his blessings, there is no God but Allah, in sincere devotion to his oneness. May God bless Muhammad, the master of his creation, and the pure ones of his household. It is from the grace of God upon mankind that he has guarded them through what is legal and what is illegal. He, may he be glorified and exalted, has said, and among his signs is this, that he created for you mates from among yourselves, and that you may dwell in tranquility with them. And he has put love and mercy between your hearts. Verily, in that are signs for those who reflect. And the messenger of God, may God bless him and grant him peace, has said, marry and beget offspring, multiply, so that I may be proud of you before the nations. And he said, marriage is a part of my practice, my tradition. He who dislikes my practice and tradition is not from me. May God bless Muhammad and his family, the noble, the pure. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. In the Islamic marriage ceremony, it is very much performed by the two individuals, and I'm here to do the other stuff and to bless everything. But these two will sort of really be responsible for, committing themselves to each other for the rest of their lives. And so I will pass the mics for them. Salima will start, and she will read her first sort of offering of herself. Shozab will respond, and then they'll go back and forth for a total of 3 times, articulating their marriage to one another.
I give myself to you in nikah for the agreed upon meher.
I accept the nikah for myself for the agreed upon meher.
I marry myself to you for the agreed upon meher.
I accept the marriage for myself for the agreed upon meher.
I give and marry myself to you.
I accept the nikah and marriage.
So we can have a round of applause. We will. And so now we will take a few moments, and I'll be calling. Yeah.
Sorry, I should do my daughter first,
Yeah.
but I won't. Thanks.
Of course. Sorry, Auntie. Can you go back with me? Thanks. So now we're going to take a few moments, and we are going to sign the contracts and have the witnesses come up. I'll call the witnesses up to do the signing. Thank you.
Maybe bring it a little closer to you so that you don't have to reach as much. Yeah.
Will Ali come up and sign as a witness? Yeah, you can sit there. So I'm going to do your dad next. He's just going to sign that one, and this one, and then Aruj will sign this one. Will the groom's father please come up and sign as the second witness? And will the bride's friend, Uruj, please come and sign as the third witness? And with that, we've sort of officialized this. So again, another round of applause. And so now you can follow along a little bit in your program for the rest of what we're going to be doing. But first, we're going to begin with the offering of rings. Oh, one ring in this context. So there you go. And I think this is worthy of another round of applause. Now, the groom's mom will now come and place the Imam Zaman on the bride and groom's arms. The Imam Zaman is a tradition like the Hadith-e-Kisa that honors the Ahlul Bayt and is meant to protect the couple, setting them on a path in the footsteps of the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. Okay, and last but not least is the Sapatya ceremony. Now, the Sapatya ceremony is an Ismaili ritual that centers around covered clay plates called Sapatya, which are filled with lentils, symbolizing abundance, silver, prosperity, sugar, sweetness, and happiness, and turmeric, good health. The couple steps on the Sapatya and breaks them in order to release the gifts they contain. All right, wonderful. We'll come in and clean those up in a second. So this is that sort of concludes the last part of the nikah ceremony, and what we're now going to sort of transition to. First, we're going to have a musical performance by Shozab's brother, and then we'll be continuing into speeches from both friends and family from the groom and the bride's side. One last round of applause for the couple.
Just gonna do a quick sound just to make sure. Can everyone hear me fine? Okay. Hi everyone, my name's Zobu. I'm Shozab's younger brother. When I'm nervous, my voice tends to go a few octaves higher. I normally sound like Barry White when I sing, so just keep that in mind. So just first of all, congratulations, Shozab and Salima. I love you guys. It's quite surreal seeing you guys here. The first song I'm going to be singing is I Wanna Love You by Akon. No, I'm just kidding. Not wedding appropriate at all. So the first song is actually an original called Salvation. The title is a work in progress, but here you go.
Salvation on your skin. It's the blood between the bones. Are you Holy Ghost or no? 'Cause I wear my heart on my sleeves. I hope you wear yours too. I keep my head above the rising tide. I hope you keep yours too. I said, who are you? Are you here for me, my dear? Are you here for me, my dear? I said, who are you? Are you here for me, my dear? Are you here for me, my dear? Turbid waters of my conscience, broken embers of my bones, light the fire in my heart, dear. I am porcelain, you're gold. I said, who are you? Are you here for me, my dear? Are you here for me, my dear? I said, who are you? Are you here for me, my dear? Are you here for me, my dear?
Thank you. So the next song I'm gonna sing is a song from a band that's very dear to my heart, as well as I hope Shozab and Salima's heart as well. This band was actually introduced to me by Shozab, and the band's called Young the Giant, and the song I'll be singing is Crystallized. Now again, just a little disclaimer, when I get nervous, I tend to forget lyrics, so we'll just assume it's a remix whenever there's like a missed beat or something. Thank you. Whoever said that, thank you.
It's been far too long. Crystallized, taste the moon, see
Thank you. I've got to charge you guys for that. Are we okay to move on to the next stage? Yeah. So for the next part of the ceremony, we're going to be doing some speeches. In case you guys haven't had enough of me, I'm going to be going first with my speech, and then after that, we'll just be followed by members of Salima's family and one more speech by Hadia as well. Hello, testing, testing. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? Okay. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Zobu, and I'm Shozab's younger brother. And as you can tell, just like my high school history essays, I still suck with introductions. Always very awkward. So in the past, whenever I've given wedding speeches, I've always worn a suit. So I've had a thick jacket to cover any sweat patches that come from the nerves. So unfortunately, I can't be saved this time. So if you guys see anything in this region, just pretend it's part of the design. So to begin with, can I just start off by saying how great everyone looks? Now, I know I wrote this line in my speech in advance without knowing how any of you would look. So it may seem a bit disingenuous, but honestly, seeing you all today, I can honestly say everyone looks amazing. And now to Salima and Shozab, you guys make such a beautiful couple. Seeing you both so happy together, along with this beautiful ceremony surrounded by our family and loved ones, I mean, my heart is so full. There is just one person who is being sorely missed. They're one of my best friends, source of all my fashion and music inspo, and partner in crime. And unfortunately, they're still in the UK and unable to come to the wedding. Riz Ahmed, if you're listening, we really miss you, and I wish you were here. Please reply to my message that I sent you in 2019. But no, for real, Danya, we really miss you, and we really wish you were here. Now, I've known Shozab for a really long time. I mean, I know that's the understatement of the year. I've known him my whole life. Now, normally wedding speeches revolve around talking about what a great person the groom is and how we all got to know them, etc., etc. But I'm not going to do that. We all know and love Shozab, so I feel like I wouldn't really be adding much. So I decided to take a different route this time. Salima, today I wanted to present you with a guide to living with Shozab based off my many years growing up with him. A list of traits and idiosyncrasies unique to Shozab that make him who he is. Now, the first thing is, Shozab has a naturally protective instinct and would go to anything to make sure those around him feel safe and loved. Now, I remember growing up, I was extremely afraid of the dark. So much so that up until the age of 12, me and Shozab would sleep in the same bed. And I'm talking about a tiny single bed. Yes, this is two hairy, sweaty Pakistani bache sharing the same bed in the heat of Saudi Arabia. Now, the thing is, Shozab allowed this just for me. He wasn't the one that was scared of the dark. And the thing is, none of my friends were aware that I slept in the same bed as my brother. So one summer, I was sleeping in the same bed as Shozab, as per usual. Shozab the big spoon, I was the backpack. And I hear my mum calling from downstairs. Shozab, Zobu, look who's come downstairs. It's your friend Muji, he's come to surprise you. So I was laying in bed, my eyes shot open. I'm like, damn, how am I going to play this off? He's found our secret. So when Muji came upstairs, I panicked and I was stressing and I tried to play it off. Like, what? Shozab, what are you doing in my bed? What's going on? Like, what? What's happened? So yeah, I mean, Shozab's the kind of guy that would sacrifice his own embarrassment to ensure that I got a good night's sleep. Secondly, Salima, the second thing you need to know is Shozab is deathly allergic to bananas. Actually, scratch that. I recently found out that was completely untrue. So growing up, Shozab hated bananas. So much so that he told everyone that he was allergic to them to avoid eating them. So one time I was speaking to Salima and telling her how I made a banoffee pie during lockdown. And she said, oh, that's amazing. You have to make it when you come here. Shozab loves bananas. And I said, what? She said she loves bananas and they're his favorite fruit. So I was like, what? For the last 30 years, I was eating bananas on his behalf, being force-fed bananas that were about to expire. So yeah, it turns out bananas are okay for Shozab, so ignore that piece of advice. Now, the third thing is Shozab is an old soul, and he's not really up to date with pop culture, which, to be honest, is actually a good thing. He may look like a guy in his 30s, but deep down, his spirit animal is basically Shaukat Uncle. He still calls WhatsApp "What's up." And now, Shozab is the kind of guy to unironically use the eggplant emoji in the context of saying, "Hey guys, I made bangin' today." Eggplant emoji. So, Salima, please make sure he's up to date with pop culture. Now, the next thing you also need to know about Shozab is that he's had a cold that's lasted roughly 31 years. Now, the official medical term for this is the sniffles. Now, we've often seen Shozab do this. Or, so, I mean, Lord knows, you know, it's something that's always been there. Now, people always ask me why I decided to pursue a career in medicine. And I always say, why? Of course, to be another Pakistani cardiologist. I mean, of course. The actual reason is to find a cure for Shozab's sniffles. You know, I've tried long and hard, you know, multiple research placements and everything, but unfortunately, I still haven't had any luck. Research is still pending. Now, the final thing is, Salima, that I would like to say is Shozab is still learning how to pose for pictures. So in high school, there was a trend where everyone tried to look like Ja Rule, you know, would take pictures like this. Like I'm sure, you know, you must have seen Shozab with his popped collar, nostrils flaring, head tilted upwards. And that would be the case with every opportunity. And now I know Shozab has evolved now. I've seen pictures of him do this. Like, you know, he'd be like, very quickly, all right, cool, this side smile. So yeah, he's still got a lot to learn in terms of being a future Instagram/anthropological theory influencer, you know, so he's got some grounds to go on that. But like, honestly, on a final note, Shozab has been all I can ask for in a brother. You know, when he moved to Toronto, our family was always very worried. You know, they say, Canada bahut dur hai, you know, Canada's very far. And, you know, how are we going to look after him? How are we going to make sure he's taken care of? And we were worried that he was so far away from his family. The thing is, meeting everyone from Salima's family and friend circle, and knowing Salima as well throughout the years, I've seen that he's always had family over here. The way Salima's family welcomed us with open arms to Toronto, we feel like part of the family, even though I've just met them for less than a week. So all credit to all of you. The thing is, Salima is also the most amazing person, and she's just perfect for Shozab. She somehow managed to find a cure for his banana allergies, and he's actually made him able to pose for pictures. You know, I've seen the engagement photos, and he's actually smiling with his teeth, which is incredible. So, you know, I mean, I wish the happy couple all the best, and I love you guys so, so much. And I don't know how to wrap this up, but yeah, I mean, love you guys. So next on the schedule, I think it's Ali, if I'm not mistaken. Ali's Salima's brother, Ali. So I'll just hand the mic over to him. Thank you.
Okay, you're just gonna stand there, right? Hi, everyone. For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Ali. I'm Salima's older brother. I just wanted to start by saying how happy I am to be here and share this day with you guys. I know it's been really difficult to plan a wedding during a pandemic, but you made it happen, and we're also happy to be with you today. My mom likes to tell a story of when I was about 1.5 years old and when I met baby Salima for the first time. And I feel like this story has changed over time like broken telephone, but apparently when I first met Salima, I walked up to her, pulled her hair, and ran away. And we're in our 30s, and sometimes I still feel like I want to pull your hair when you drive us crazy. But I'm not surprised that was our first interaction. But since then, things have been very different. Salima and I are only 18 months apart, so growing up, it always felt like I had a little shadow. When I would graduate to a new school, Salima was always 1 year behind me. If I had a new favorite TV show or movie or book, 2 weeks later, Salima would say, "Oh, that's my favorite too." The upside of this is that I always had a partner in crime, whether I asked for one or not. If I wanted to wait in line for hours for tickets to see a movie at the Toronto Film Festival, Salima would be waiting with me at 5 a.m. If I wanted to explore a new part of the city, Salima would always be with me, and I didn't even have to ask twice. I think we always took for granted that we didn't always need other people because we always had each other, and we're so lucky to have had that. We've had so many adventures together, and even though at the time we were just each other's company by default, I was so lucky to have you as a constant in my life. Being siblings doesn't mean that you always have to agree on everything, and we definitely don't, but we're bonded by something bigger, and that's the common life experiences that we share. Salima and I have gone to school together, we've lost a parent together, we've watched each other laugh and cry over so many things in our life, and nothing can change that bond that we share. The thing about Salima is that when she's in, she's committed 200%. We used to joke about her and call her Atlas because she always feels like she has to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders. And Shozab, I think you know that hasn't changed. But one thing you can count on is that Salima will be there for you whether you're up or down, laughing or crying. It doesn't matter what we're going through. I always know that if I call Salima, she will be there. And I hope she knows that Shrini and I will always be there for her unconditionally as well. Shozab, you've been a part of our family for many years already, and we're so grateful to have you in our lives. Please know that we're here for you just as much as we are for Salima, and we're so happy that she found someone who completes her. You're gentle, kind, and caring, but you also challenge Salima in such a positive way. What is companionship other than finding someone to share life's ups and downs with? With Salima and Shozab, I'm confident that they will be able to tackle whatever their future holds if they do it together. They've survived multiple years of long distance and so many things in between, and we're so proud to see you here today. To both of you, please know that whatever phase of life you're in, Shireen and I will always be cheering for you, and we wish you nothing but happiness. We love you both so much. Congratulations. Okay. Do you know what's next? Okay, I think my mom's speech is next.
Thank you, guys. I want to welcome you all today. I'm so happy this day has finally arrived, and I know that all of the near and dear are here from the family members, except for poor Danya, who we feel so sad that she's not here. So we'll have to do a repeat somewhere along the line to make sure she knows how it feels to be in a wedding party, right? But thank you all for coming on this very, very hot day. We're honored to have you all here. And thank God there's no rain. So it's a lovely day, and I'm so happy that this day's come. As Ali said, we've known Shozab a long time. I'm going to give you my perspective of how I've known him and Salima. And as you know, Salima is my second child. Ali was born. I was thrilled to bits to have Ali. And 18 months later, this little beautiful baby was born. So beautiful that all the nurses would come into the room and say, "Can we just stroke her hair? We've never seen somebody have so much hair. She's so beautiful. She's so fair." And they would just come and play with her hair. She and Ali, that story was true. I don't know what Ali's talking about, the telephone line, but that was a true story. He pulled her hair, walked away, and then since then, they've been the best of friends. But Salima, as you know, is a beautiful girl, but there's another side of her that you may not know. Some of you do know that are close friends of her. Ever since she was really young, and very young, around SK in senior kindergarten, I started to see some behavior that continue on all the way till now. And I'm sure her good friends will attest to those behaviors of hers. Around SK, I started to notice that the teachers would start putting her with children who were either new or who had no friends. She just gravitated to the people who didn't have anyone. She was always standing up for them and going to sit with them. And she would come home and I'd sit in the car and I'd say, "How was the day?" "Oh, Mom, it was so sad. So-and-so is a new student." And nobody talked to them. And I said, "And did you do anything?" She goes, "Yeah, I went at lunchtime." And I said, "Hi, do you want me to show you where your cubby is? Do you want me to show this?" That's how it started. And as she moved into elementary school, there were other children who were marginalized, children who had some issues. Somehow her heart found those people. And she would go to them and she would spend time with them. She always ended up in the groups where those children were because she didn't fight it. She was happy to be with them and do extra work to make up the part that they couldn't do. And I remember thinking at that time, my God, she's so young. Her gut feeling is these are the people who need me. And as the years went on, she continued to show that compassion and that caring and kindness for people who perhaps didn't have as much as she did. She was lucky to have a loving family, lots of uncles and aunts that spoiled her, cousins that loved her. And we did really well. She was really a happy kid, and she and Ali got well. All the cousins played together. But she continued that throughout her career, and she chose teaching. But even in teaching, she somehow gravitated to being a special ed teacher. And that's what she does really well. Her heart bleeds for her students. She'll go out of her way to do things for them. She was an activist. At one point, I was scared of how much of an activist she was. And I said, I just need to know which rally you're at so that if you're on TV, I know where to find you. She goes, Mom, just take a chill pill. It's just, we all have to speak up. And she does. She continues to do that. So I know that some of you know that about her, but it's a part of her that's continued. And ironically, I always believe that God has planned things for you. And for her to have a partner that was similar in the thinking was so important. And that's where Shozab came in. So Shozab comes into our life and she introduces me to him. And he's in his younger years of starting his PhD. And, another person that we're missing today is Arsalan. So Arsalan, we do miss you today. I wish you were here. But Arsalan and Shozab were roommates. And as the days went by, Salima told me what they did in their spare time. These are kids in their 20s. They were tutoring kids for free in their apartment. People in their 20s don't do that. To me, this was commendable that someone who was already busy in his own life and had other priorities was able to give freely of his entire weekend to tutor the kids, to the point that he and Arslan had such a following of children in that area. They ended up at the library, and the library gave them the whole basement, so they had all the children coming. Isn't that amazing that somebody in this day and age can give so much of their time? He could have been out partying. He could have been out doing all kinds of fun stuff. But that really endeared me. That, we in Islam, we believe seva is giving of yourself. And that was a form of seva. And he continues to do that to now. He volunteers all his work. He's always doing things. And that has overflowed into our family. As we've gotten to know him, my family loves this boy. We love him just like our own. He's kind. He's compassionate. He's so good to me. When I was not so well a little while ago, he would come and take care of me. Let me take this for you. Let me get these groceries for you. As easily as Ali did. So I actually feel I have two sons. I have two sons and I have two daughters. I feel very blessed that not only do I have two children, but both my children have brought partners to the relationship that I adore. I love Shrini. She's the warmest, kindest daughter-in-law I could have had. I don't think of her as a daughter-in-law, and I don't think of Shozab as a son-in-law. One day I asked him what makes him happy, and he said, well, when we're in the elevator or going somewhere, if someone asks you, who's this? You say, that's my son. And I said, but you are my son. That is how life is going to be. This is my son, and I hope that Salima will be the same in your family as the years go by. So I wish them well. I know they will do well. They complement each other in their goals, in their activism, in their caring for humanity and for people who are not as privileged as we are. And I know that will make them, they're better people than anyone can think of. We're so privileged to have these two in our lives, and I'm so proud of them. And aside from that, these two are stunning looking, aren't they? Like, what a couple! And what grandbabies I'm gonna have out of this couple, right? They're beautiful. Look at Salima, she's so pretty. And if you want to see what Salima looked like as an infant, Shrini is holding her. When little Mira was born, she's 4 months old now. When Mira was born, we all said, oh my God, that's Salima. So it's very surreal for me to look at Mira because she's completely Salima. She looks just like her. So most beautiful daughter that I could ever have, a handsome son-in-law, what more could I ask for? So all I can do is pray for your happiness and your long lives, and I hope we have many, many happy moments together as a family. Thank you for making it here for the wedding. I know it was difficult with flights and whatnot, but all of the family that arrived, thank God you made it. What a relief when we picked you up to say, okay, you're here. And all of you friends, I need to talk to you because I have all the names. I've heard about all of you. Now I'm putting faces and names together. So I look forward to chatting to you later. Thank you so much and welcome again. Shall I pass it?
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, so Zobu definitely passed off his nervousness onto me. I'm generally never, ever nervous, you know? I love making speeches. It's my thing. It's not, I'm joking. So my name is Hadia. Shozab and I have been friends since undergrad, which has been almost over 12 years now. When I met him in undergrad, he used to look like a Gino. He would wear really tight neon green t-shirts. He had these really big biceps that would protrude out of his green t-shirt. He even had an eyebrow piercing, which on one of his trips back to Saudi, uncle surgically removed because he was like, "Yeah, nahi ho sakta." And you know, Shozab, as we all know, as everyone has commented thus far, is good people. He is actually one of the main reasons why I'm doing a PhD. I was failing undergrad until I met Shozab, and we started studying together, and he started, you know, pushing me to do my intellectual and political best. And I joke about how I just follow his footsteps, and I'm hoping, like, I just wait for Shozab. He's a year ahead of me in the PhD, so like whatever he does, I do, and I'm like, yes, it'll work out. And next year I'll be in Yale, hopefully. So many years ago, when he joined OkCupid, before dating apps were a socially acceptable thing, his first and top match was a 99% match with Salima, and we were both in England at the time, and Shozab came, and he came to Brighton, and he was like, there's this girl, and her name's Salima, and this is her profile, and we're a 99% match. Should I message her? And I was like, yeah, bro, please message her. And he did. So I'll definitely be taking a lot of credit for making today possible. Even though on their first date, Shozab took Salima to Futures, which the U of T people will know is a cheap cafe near U of T, Salima still saw what we all see in Shozab, what we all see and what we all love about Shozab. He's curious, he's generous, he's kind, he has no pretenses, he's never trying to one-up anyone. And you know, he's just, he has this curiosity for life where he's just like, he'll ask you questions about anything and everything all the time. Like nothing's ever final for him. Fast forward to today, we can see that Shozab and Salima not only make a really good-looking couple, claps for the really good-looking couple, we also know that they bring out the best in each other. As the world crumbles around us, both of them have kept their fighting spirit alive. Salima continues to stand up for better education for vulnerable students all across Toronto. Shozab also does many great things, including, but not limited to, getting a tattoo of the Black Panthers on his forearm. Anyway, I just want to say that it's a really beautiful thing to witness two people who care about building a better world for us, find each other, find love, and push each other, and you know, decide to face all of this together. And I wish you courage, and I wish you happiness, and I love you. What do I do with this?
Just let me know when you're ready.
No, it's good like this. So this is the last speech, so just bear with the heat. But I wanted to start by just sharing how happy Shozab and I both are to be here celebrating with you all today. Whether you're with us in person or virtually, we are so blessed to be surrounded by your love, your warmth, and your well wishes. There are some very special people who are not with us in person today, but who are very much in my heart and in our hearts. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge my family, who have been an army of support, not only in the lead up to this wedding, but throughout my entire life and especially my childhood. In particular, I want to thank my aunts and my uncles and acknowledge them for their support, their understanding, and their unconditional love. To Shozab's parents, thank you for welcoming me into your family. The person that Shozab is a testament to you both as individuals. I will always be grateful to you for raising someone who is so loving, kind, and compassionate. Thank you especially to Shozab's siblings, Zobu and Danya, for always being so warm and welcoming to me. To my brother, who I will always count on, who I know I can always count on, who I know will always have my back no matter what, who has always paved the way for me and made it look so easy, and in whose footsteps I've always strived to follow in. To my sister-in-law, Shirini, who I feel like I have known my entire life because she is such an integral part of my family and my life. You are the best sister that I could ever ask for, and I hope you know how much I love you and appreciate you. To my mom, who was my first example of what it means to be a strong, intelligent, and independent woman. You are my greatest inspiration, and I will always be indebted to you for the sacrifices that you've made for me and for us. And lastly, to Shozab, my partner in life, our love is not grand or extraordinary. It is simple, ordinary, uncomplicated, and based on everyday happiness. You are so easy to love, and I'm a better person for having you in my life. Thank you all for coming here today. That's it.
Each and every one of those speeches was amazing and heartfelt, and I think just points out how wonderful both of these individuals are as individuals, but how strong they are together. So one last round of applause. And then very importantly, I've sort of been eyeing the shaded region over there, which is where we will be heading to next. And there's cake and food and refreshments, and most importantly, shade. So that adjourns this part of this, and thank you all for coming.
तू Sometimes winning's losing fast and moving past who is right and who is wrong. And sometimes leaving's all I've got, even when I know it's not. 'Cause our love is too strong for that kind of talk to be more than a thought. If you were the stars and if I was the sky, I'd be jealous just to see you fill another's lonely night. So I'm sending you a message through a broken satellite. I love you, I love you, I love you. Sundown to sunrise. Sundown to sunrise. Sometimes we both need our space, and it's the only way to feel the pull of you and me. And it took our whole world going black, oh, and fading fast, just to finally see that all that we have is all that we need. If you were the stars and if I was the sky,
लगता नहीं